Welcome back to NetWorthy Podcast, where we provide coverage on all things NBA. I'm your co-host El Jefe, and I'm joined here by my fellow members of the SFN crew. How y'all fellas doing tonight?
Well, after some technical difficulties, I still feel the same way about Hezzy God. I'm tired of seeing him on my timeline, committing all these violations, traveling, taking people's beanies off their heads, all this nonsense. He testing dudes that, just he knows he gonna get away with it. I seen him get smoked a couple times. Some of the end of lab guys, dude Rob and Frank Nitty. We need more solid hooping, not this mean basketball is nasty work. But otherwise, everything is good.
Yeah, man, we're here. Another week of exciting basketball. Another week that the Celtics are on top. That's all I gotta say.
Oh man, not these Celtics again.
He's clapping, but we can't even hear him.
Yeah, I did not hear a single clap.
I've never seen a muted
No,
clap
not
before.
even.
I've
Not even seen
never
it.
seen it.
Never seen that.
I've
That's
never seen
that's
it.
like some Helen Keller type science right there. I've never seen
That,
that before.
that was crazy. But
My fault.
Sav, man,
Man,
how are you doing?
I'm chilling. What's good, everybody?
No, how did you clap without sound? Because your
crazy.
your
Yeah,
drink
that's
wasn't on
crazy.
mute.
Rodney.
I
I
literally
heard.
checked
Yeah,
it.
I
I
heard
checked to
that.
make sure.
It
I checked to
wasn't.
make
Yeah,
sure.
it's insane.
Ant
Wait,
needs an explanation.
y'all didn't hear it?
No,
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 not a
explain
single
that.
one.
Explain it,
Swear. Hold on. Let's try it
brother.
again.
We don't have to lie.
yeah,
Yo, that's crazy. What are you doing? He's not
And
on
he's not
mute.
on mute either.
That's
That's
it.
he's putting
crazy.
some.
That's
He's
very
putting some.
interesting.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
actually
Dude,
crazy.
this dude is a demon.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy. I've never seen it, but yeah, he's wilding. Can't
Wow.
even
Wow.
hear him. But
Maybe it's blocking it because it's so loud. I think that's what it is. That's good. That's good to
yeah,
know. There's a certain
Like,
level
hope,
of sound that they will not
hopefully
let
that
you
does
reach.
not pick that
Certain
up.
decibel.
But let's go ahead and get right into it. We want to talk about some NBA playoff stuff. But outside of our own teams, this episode, we're gonna try and get away from our favorite teams and do something off the norm. We want to pick
A
our
shocker for you, sir, but I'm for it.
that
quiet.
part.
That's enough out of you. That's enough out of all you. But we want to pick the potential matchups that we could possibly think we might see outside of our teams in the NBA Finals this year. But one thing that I wanted to touch on that was interesting that I saw this year for the first time, and I've personally never seen this before. Something called the 40-20 rule that apparently states to win the NBA championship, a team must achieve its 40th win before sustaining its 20th loss. Although this is not guaranteed, it has been observed that most championship teams have followed this rule. And they did a little timeline here of all the way back to 89, and it looks like only four teams have not made that feat. And one thing I do want to point out for this season, there's only been four teams to reach 40 wins before their 20th loss. One team out of the East, that is the Boston Celtics. So congratulations to you, Wayne. And then there's three teams out of the West to accomplish this feat. So that's the Nuggets, OKC, and the Timberwolves. So could we see Boston potentially match up with one of those teams this season? Possibly. But outside of that rule, let's do our own thing here, fellas. Let's see what how we feel about the finals this season. And I can go ahead and start us off. What something I would like to see. One thing I would definitely like to see. I'm gonna start in the West outside of my own conference. I'd love to see OKC go to the finals this year. That's one team I would really love to see. I actually watched them play a little bit the other night against the Suns, and just to watch them so young and just so hungry and talented, and just they seem like they're just veterans out there at times. It's just amazing to watch. So I'd really love to see them in the finals. Um, One team in the East. Uh Really, I'm gonna go back to who I shouted out last week, the Pacers. I'd love to see Halliburton in the finals, man. I know it's not going to happen, but that's who I would love to see. Halliburton in the finals, bring the Pacers all the way. If he could find a way to beat teams in the East like Miami and Boston, that would be amazing. But I highly doubt it. But those are my two that I'm gonna go with. So whoever wants to take the floor, y'all can go next.
I mean, I can. Well, I feel like we all have a general understanding of how I feel about the Western Conference. I firmly believe that Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves should make their way to the NBA Finals. You know what I mean? I think that they're a young upstart team. I think they have the length, pause, to really lock down the perimeter and the interior. I think Mike Conley is the veteran that this young team needs. And I mean, Rudy Gobert, solid defensive anchor. And for me, it's always been a situation where, you know, whether Karl Anthony Towns can hand over the reins to Ant Edwards. I think he's already done so this year. And if Ant Edwards, in my opinion, if he can become better with his decision making towards the end of these games, I think that the Timberwolves have a really good chance of, you know, uh, really making a deep run in the playoffs. I know they, fell short last year, but I think that this is the year they have the maturity, they have the experience. I don't know if it was last night or 2 nights ago, and Edwards, they were, they needed a three, and Edwards decided to, go for a dunk. And, 3 seconds left on the clock, all the team had really had to do was get the ball in bounds and throw the ball up the floor, and that was it. But I think those sort of things, those sort of mistakes, they're just minor growing pains for, who I think personally has the opportunity to be the face of the NBA outside of, um, excuse me, Forrest. I don't know. Sad, what are you telling me?
I'm just saying in certain situations, depending on the refs that you may have in a game, attempting to go to the basket to attract the
For no,
foul.
yeah, for sure, like
Also,
that.
potential in a 3-point game, if they're giving you calls already, that is not a bad decision. But I can see what you're saying. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but it would
No, no,
hurt.
no, no, you're good. I think it was more so that it was against the Clippers. I'm sorry. So it was a situation where, they were playing really solid perimeter defense, and he had a clean path to the basket, and he took that. And it just wasn't the right decision to make given how much time was left. And the Clippers were able to inbound the ball and just get it down the floor, and that was the end of that. So, but again, these are just growing pains. I mean, they have a tough road. As far as OKC goes, they are a solid basketball team, but I think they're too young. I just don't think they're going to, withstand what it is with what the playoffs come with. Denver obviously experienced. The Clippers, something's always gonna happen to the Clippers. I don't know. I think they might be cursed until they get their own
Hey, look,
stadium.
OKC is young. Yeah, I agree with you. But we're over here discussing our preferred matchups here.
No,
All
no, no.
right.
I know. I was just looking at
So I
the West.
do,
I'm
but they,
looking.
they are the
I'm looking
youngest
at the
team.
path.
Yes.
I know. I'm just looking at the path that they have to that Minnesota would have to go. Who they would have to. Pelicans not real. Phoenix. If Phoenix is healthy, I think Phoenix is a really large threat. You know what I mean? Devin Booker, Kevin Durant,
They've also got to get
and
serious.
Bradley Beal. I mean, I know, but that's what I'm saying. They haven't really been healthy the entire year. If Bradley Beal, I'm sorry, well, Devin Booker's down right now, but if all three of those pieces can come together, you know, and we still have to play in, but we'll talk about that a little bit later in the West, which is going to be a war zone. Now, in the Eastern Conference, I know I'm not going to pick the Knicks, obviously, but if I'm going to be honest, outside of the Pacers, I do like watching Tyrese Halliburton. I do like that young team. I wouldn't be upset with seeing Boston in the NBA Finals. They're a pretty solid team. I do like Jason Tatum's game. Obviously, I joke on Jalen Brown's inability to, go left, but for
You
what
still
it's
can't.
worth, yeah, I mean, you're looking at Kristaps Porzingis, a guy who's recognized his role. It's really good because I feel like their players, like this team, each one of these players knows what their role is, and they never try to overstep their boundaries. Drew Holiday came from, the Pelicans. He was, one of those guys where, I can score. Also, he was a two-way guard that, could score the basketball. Now, his main thing is, all right, I'm going to lock down the best player on the other side of the floor if they're a guard or a wing, and I'm going to do what I need to do on offense. Doesn't mean he's going to necessarily be looking to score, but, he's just going to make sure the offense flows properly. And I mean, it's difficult. Again, I mentioned it briefly, but it's difficult to go up against Jason Tatum. If Jason Tatum is locked in and he does what Jason Tatum is supposed to do, there's not too many basketball players in the NBA that are better than that guy. Peyton Pritchard, excellent guard off the bench. The Sam Hauser kid, excellent shooter. So I mean, they have the pieces on their team that can get it done. It's just whether they're going to rise to the occasion. Because I think one of the things that the Celtics, we've seen, unfortunately, is they kind of have played down to their opposition at times. And I think that they just need to accept that, hey, we're better than you. There's no reason to even get into this, this back and forth with you. We're just going to let you know that we're better than you. I think that's just what the Celtics need to do, right? This is the time. If they're going to do it, like if they're just going to lock in, they just got to lock in right here, right now, and get it done. Knicks, my Knicks aren't the healthiest. I still don't think the Heat are the real deal. Joel Embiid is gone, and unless unless the Bucks really lock in, I kind of like the acquisition of Pat Beverly. Wherever Pat Beverly goes, they're cold. There's a culture change, and I think the Bucks might need a little bit more toughness than Bobby Portis, which is good. So I think that the Bucks will probably be the Celtics' biggest opposition outside of themselves. So if it's not going to be my team out of the East, it's going to be the Celtics, and obviously in the West, I'm always going to support the Minnesota Timberwolves. And Edwards is my guy. Pause.
What's that? What you got? Sounds good. So for me, I'll go with
I was trying to figure out what he was doing.
yeah, same.
I was saying
but
you first. My fault. I forgot my
yeah,
mic was muted. I was so confused. It's like, what the hell is going on?
no, I'll go with the Clippers in the West. I just feel like it's a veteran squad. They have a lot of depth. They're coming together at the right time right now, which is this period after the All Star break is clutch. And Ty Lue deserves one. Honestly, I mean, I know it might be when they get in the stadium next year, but Ty Lue deserves one. It's gonna happen. So especially with the squad that they have right now. I feel like Minnesota, they have a mix of young and they have some vets in there, Conley and obviously Rudy being there. But Rudy, I feel like is trash, just a rebounder. At the end of the day, I feel like they'll fall probably in the second round or so to a veteran team like a Denver or something like that. But I feel like it'll be Denver and LA in that conference finals because I feel like also OKC too as well. They've been playing some sloppy ball because I watched the game against the Spurs the other day, and the Spurs came through and they were doing what they had to do. So can't can't count out the Clippers just yet. I'll say down the stretch they might be a hot team to look at in the West. That's who I'll go with in the West. And in the East, to be honest with you, as much as I do hate Doc Rivers, I'm not a fan because I feel like he's trash. I will go with the Bucks as the other team outside of the Celtics to win the East. 'Cause I feel like they should get it done. Wow, um, wow, Celtics lost. Anyway, but yeah, they should get it done. And I feel like if Doc Rivers doesn't coach like how he did in the past years and tries to get his too much of his philosophy out there, they should be able to get the job done and not choke and get over the hump. But that's the only other team that I can see in the East outside of Boston. But I can't see anybody else but Boston winning the finals unless they pull some stuff like they pulled tonight.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What just happened?
Yeah, yeah. I just saw the score on my screen, so it's fine. Just carry on.
Turn the
just
game
carry on.
off. It was
He
it was
said carry on.
89-71. What just happened?
He said carry
Confused
on.
right now. I'm confused right now.
Well, what I am curious though, before we get into Sav, I am curious. We've all so far picked different teams in the Western bracket. And in the East actually. So Sav, are you gonna favor one of our teams, or are you picking you going completely outside the box here? Completely outside the scope. Where are
This
you
is
at
for
with your
teams.
picks?
This is, and just to be correct, this is for teams that we want to see.
Yeah,
Correct?
that we would like our preferred team. Yes.
Oh, absolutely. No,
Outside of our team, our preferred matchup that we would like to see. Yes.
I'm out of the box like Disney on 11 o'clock on channel 56.
Oh, this is gonna be crazy.
that's how it's about to get right now. So in
Especially
the
Channel
East, I'm not even
56.
gonna
I ain't seeing
hesitate.
that's just the black box.
In the East, I'm not even about to hesitate. I want Orlando. I want Orlando. I want Orlando in the finals. I'm not even gonna hesitate. Super
Wow.
young. Bench depth is crazy with the youngness right now. If they can cohesively play together, it could be different. Now, once again, it's a reach, but once again, in my opinion, this is based off of what we would want to see. I want to see the correct Duke player flourish in the light that he should be flourishing in, because the one who's been there the longest can't do what he's supposed to do with having the keys to where he has them. So
Look
if
at this, dog.
not
Look
gonna
at
do it,
this.
somebody
Yo,
from the
that
brother.
was
What a
this,
what a
crazy.
man?
round what a roundabout way of saying
That
that
was
he does
crazy.
not trust Jason Tatum.
What is
That
this?
was
That's
crazy.
crazy.
That
That's
was a
not what I
crazy
said.
low
I
blow.
didn't even
Let's
see that. I
let's
didn't even
not
see that
speculate, because
coming.
if that's
That
what I
was
wanted to say, I would have
That
said
is
it.
insane.
That was
No.
crazy. That was a crazy.
I definitely, let's not do that, because I said last I could see him as a face of the league after he gets said things. And once again, there's no backtracking on that, but it's at the point I'm at right now, outside of what is seen in the league, what would I want to see? I
Yeah.
would want to see Orlando. Feel like Paulo Banchero's had a great year going and is still going and deserves to put himself in a more bigger of a light. That boy didn't have his first on TV game till what? Mid January? Mid January. He got his first game. I want to say he went 20-10 at least, if I'm correct. Not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that.
So will they make it out of the playing game?
What was that?
Will they make it out of the playing game?
That wasn't the point of this right now. That wasn't the point of this. That wasn't the
I get
point
it.
of this.
I get it. You know, but
Yeah.
That wasn't the point of this. If we want to speculate that after, we can have that conversation. But the point of this was, what would I want to see? What would I want to see? and okay, so that's how I feel for the Eastern Conference, and fully outside the box, which is not fully outside the box, but New Orleans Pelicans. And I'm not saying Zion Williamson. BG. If BG don't get if BG doesn't get out of there, or they get him more help there, I have a problem. Because once again, if they would have just left BG alone, we realize that we go back to evaluate that LeBron trade, BG would have stayed there and BG would have been with Bron. It would have been a crazy time. It would have been a crazy time. You would just could have let Kuzma go in 2 extra first rounds and left BG there. Beautiful.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to see
killing me with
Zion
all
do
this Duke
anything.
talent. All you killing me with all this Duke talent. That's it.
And I'm not gonna lie to you.
Everywhere.
I'm not gonna
That's
lie
all
to
it
you.
is.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It's all unintentional until after I said it. I didn't think about it until after I said it.
Yeah, okay.
It's crazy.
It's all
Nice
unintentional until
try.
after
Hey,
I said
nice
it.
try. Nice try.
I swear.
It's
Because
wild,
look,
man. Like,
honestly, I'm not gonna make the BG argument with I'm not gonna make the BG and JT argument. I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna leave that alone. Personally. I'm gonna leave that
please
alone.
leave it
That's
alone. Because
crazy
I
for
know
me
where
to
you're
leave
going
alone.
with this. No,
I'm
no,
gonna
no,
leave
no.
it alone. It's
Yikes.
not,
It's wild.
but as far as Paulo, right now, once again, if we look at Jason Tatum's rookie year compared to Paulo's rookie year right now, and
Was Tatum the best player in his rookie year on the team? Come on,
I'm
bro.
not saying that.
Come on,
I'm
bro.
not. That's why I just.
Come on, come on,
I'm not
come on.
saying that.
I'm
You're
just,
right. You're right.
I'm sure.
There's other numbers we're not adding in there. You're right, but that's not what this is about. This is what I would want to see. So that's what I would want to see if I could see it. I'll leave it at
Well,
that.
I appreciate your answers, and it's honestly, and it's great to see that all of us came up with different predictions, and not one person picked any of the same team from each conference. So I do like that. So we all got our own different fantasy matchups for this season. But obviously we'll all be rooting for our own respective teams when it all comes down to it. So, but at the end of the day, we'll see what happens and we'll see who wins the finals. But
Okay.
we're
Are
gonna
you
get
pointing
out
at
of here.
LeBron?
Yikes.
Brother,
Yeah.
he won an in-season tournament. That's the last thing he's gonna win. Okay, he got his. He
Another
got his.
team that has to mention as a
Yikes.
player.
He said he got his flowers and that's about it for him.
He
But
got
we're
his.
gonna
He got his
we're gonna
40K. That's good.
we're gonna get more into that and a couple other things a little bit later on this week when we drop another episode. But as for right now, we're out of here and we'll catch y'all in a couple days. Catch us exclusively on YouTube, NetWorthy Basketball Podcast, where all of our content is on. We'll see y'all next time.
Sure.